Okay, I'm now recording. So,
Wow.
so I think the thing you want to know, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm going to draw a simple triangle here.
Mm-hmm.
And so, say you want to add some text over here without going like this, and you know,
Now, right away, I have a question.
what's that?
You put your cursor there and you clicked on it. I assume you're in the text feature.
I'm in the
If
text box, yes.
okay, if I were to do that on my Corel program with the Braille 2000 page already put in there, it wouldn't let me. The minute I click inside that Braille 2000 page with my cursor, it
So
selects the page.
I just hit Control Enter, and it changed it back to the Select tool, which is right up here. It's this little arrow. You have to hit F8 on your keyboard or click over here on the text tool, to be able to edit text in
Okay, let
CorelDraw.
me try that. I didn't know about the F8. So F8 is
That's a
that's not
shortcut.
one of your macros. Let me try.
It's
Let
a
me see
built-in
that.
shortcut. Yep.
F8, I didn't know that. Oh, look at that. It has a text thing. Now, wait a minute. Now I'm going to click up here again, and then I'm going to hit F8. Oh, wow. I'll learn a lot of stuff, Jonathan. Okay. So I click F8. Now, let's say I go back to this page that I have. Do I have any pages that are entered? I have a Braille 2000 open. I'm just going to select a page and um, right click on copy. What do you use instead of right click on copy? Do you do a different thing? Alt do copy?
I have a speed braille that I use.
Okay. You have a speed braille that selects. Okay, I'll have to find or create speed braille key. That would be an awesome speed braille key to have for
Yeah.
copy lines.
Yeah, it's handy. I have mine set to the F10 button on my keyboard.
I can use those F buttons for speed braille. Okay, duh. So I right cut anyway. I already did that. I'm going to paste that into here. Now, when I paste my speed braille, that's a whole other thing. I have to then enlarge it. Wish I could show. When I paste my Corel key, Corel page, I have to go to the object properties box and select the font, and I have to do it in two different ways. That's another thing. But
Yes, I have the default font set up on this document already, so all I have to do is draw the right size text box and then paste into it, and it's ready to go.
you have the default fonts.
Yep, you just go to your tool and options and CorelDraw, and let's see, it's probably in here somewhere. And text, fonts, no, that's not it. Display.
Tool options. Adobe Illustrator, default illustration, light
And
page layout, touch, X6 Inspire. This is all.
I do have default set somewhere in here. I guess I don't remember exactly where.
Okay.
Layout, page size.
Oh, you're looking at yours.
Um, yeah, I don't remember how I did that.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's for another time. I just know that I do that with every page I paste. It's a long process. It probably takes me a minute
Uh-huh.
by the time I click on the on the character. I have to click on that two places, and then I get a small box. I still have the small box in the middle of the Corel page, and then I have to stretch that horizontally and vertically to get it to fit the Corel page.
Mm.
That's it, and that might be all that stuff means the minute if I select the text tool, you said F8. If I do F8, the minute I click inside my Corel page with my cursor, it selects the page. So I'd have to move the Braille page out of the way in order to add labels. Now, did you just say you do something different?
Yes, I don't have to do that.
That's because of how you import your Braille 2000 page
Well,
to Corel.
you can make more than one text box. So here's what you can do. If you need to add a label, see when I moved my, are you looking at my screen now?
Yes, yes.
When I moved my cursor off to the side of the page outside of the text box, did you see it change?
Did I see what? Can you do it again?
My cursor. See how right here it's like an input thing
Yes.
inside the text
Yes.
box? And
Uh-huh.
then I go outside and it changed to a crosshair with an A.
Yes. Yes, that's what mine
So
does.
if I just click here on the side, it creates a new text input field,
Yes,
and we'll
that's
just
what I do.
type in some text here. Oh, I hit enter. Okay, I'm going to hit Control Enter to get out of that. And now you can see that it created a text box, and
Wait a
it's
minute. Control Enter to get out of what? That's the.
to finish my text input. I hit Control Enter, and
Oh,
it
okay.
changed it back to select. So now it automatically selected that text box we just created, and you can drag that to anywhere.
Right. Okay. So that's what I do. Although that nice little Control Enter to finish a text box. Well, I'll be able to go back and watch this too. But does that have? That's creating a text box. That's what I did not know about.
Yep, that creates a text box, and then if you look at your layer, see here I am. I've got my layers, my objects browser on the left here. Let's get rid of that. It's distracting. So right here on the left, you can see the layer one. I've got some text that we just created. We've got this curve that we created, and we've got our text box with all of the text from Braille 2000 right there.
That's a separate text box.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you can see everything you've created on the page in your object browser. So if you didn't know about the object browser, it's very important.
Now, is that Object Manager? Let me see that. Mine has a now I have a 2018 version of Corel. When is yours? What version is yours?
It's the newest.
Yeah. So mine is an Object Manager. It's got because my graphics person uses this, like it talks about guides, layer one. There's a bunch of stuff that
That's probably it then.
I'm just learning how to use it. I guess I could probably find tutorials on Google for this stuff in Corel. Probably.
I don't know.
So anyway, so let me see if I can find a graphic. I want to see, does that text box have white space in it?
No, you have to create that separately, and I'll show you how to do that real quick.
Okay.
So the rectangle shortcut is F5. So I hit F5. Oh, sorry, that's just a regular line. It's F6. So now with F6 selected, I can draw the box where I need it.
Oh.
And I'm holding down my mouse button. Now when I let go, it created the box, right?
Wait a minute. So, okay, you're holding down your mouse and you created the box. Okay, so you create an individual box. Okay.
Okay,
All
so,
right.
but we don't want it like that. We don't want a border, so I'm going to go down to the bottom here where I've got my palette. And with my left mouse button, I'm going to click this red line. That'll get rid of our outline. No, I've got it backwards. The right mouse button, you can see on the bottom left of the screen, we've got no fill, and we've got a black outline. And so that left and right corresponds to fill with the left mouse button and the outline with the right mouse button.
Oh
So,
my goodness! I knew about the fill on the left mouse button. I did not. I would have to go to text properties and find the font for the line, and that's a lot quicker.
So
Okay.
what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click with my, we'll do the fill first so it doesn't become completely invisible. So with my left mouse button, I'll click on white for the fill, and with my right mouse button, I'll click on this red line to get rid of the
Okay.
outline.
Let me ask you a question here.
Go
So
ahead.
so let's just say I had already created the box and then I took away the fill on the line. How do I get back?
Well, you can,
Oh, I
I'm
did
sorry,
it.
what do you want to do?
No, I did it. I did Control Z a couple times to go back to, okay, I've got the text box, I have the rectangle around it. And then what do? Do you click on white?
Yeah, with my right mouse button, or sorry, left mouse button, I clicked on the white to turn it white. And then with
Gotcha.
my right button, I clicked on the the red line there to get rid of the outline. But now it's covering our text, which isn't what
Right.
we need. We need it to be in front. So I go over here to the object browser and I drag our rectangle underneath of our text box.
Oh, okay. Hold on a second. Object Manager, drag your rectangle. Oh, I see where it says rectangle. And what do you do with that?
You drag it, you hold your mouse button, you click on it and you
Yeah.
hold your mouse button, your left mouse button, and you
Mm-hmm.
drag it underneath your text box that you just made.
Underneath the text box. Can you do that one more time? You drag it in the Object Manager, you drag
Yep. So you look at my screen.
underneath the text
Are you
box.
are you
Yeah.
looking at my screen?
Yes.
It says, you can see I've got my mouse where it says rectangle, and then under that is some
Yeah.
text. That's the text box. So
Okay.
I'm clicking on the rectangle. I'm holding down the mouse button, and
Yeah.
now I'm dragging it. Oh, it's not working. Let's try it again. Clicking it. There we go. Dragging it, and you'll see this line appear where you want it to go. So I'm going to put it right there between some text and the
Yes.
curve.
Yeah. And it comes back. Okay. Thank you. And I just did that on mine. Now I apparently selected the wrong color for the white because it's not white. What is that? I'm looking on my screen because I couldn't tell what those.
So
How do you tell which?
the
Oh,
white
I
that you
see.
need, you always need to use CMYK colors.
Okay.
Otherwise, the Tiger Braille embossers will not work right if you use RGB. So you can look up what that means, but you always need to use CMYK scales of black. CMY always have to be 0, and K is the black, the level of black.
Okay.
So you need to figure out
Yeah.
how to do that. And so your
Yeah. I've done
CMYK
that before.
is going to be
There's
0 all the way across for the white color. Now, I'll show you one more thing before we run out of time here
right.
to finish what we're doing here. So now you've got your text box and your rectangle, but if we go back to select by hitting Control Enter and we try to move it, they're not going to move
Right.
together. So now what you do is in the object browser again, you're going to click on one of them, you're going to hold Shift down, and you're going to click on the other so that you have both selected. And
What do you mean
now
one and the other? Oh,
you
okay.
see how
For
they're
click.
both highlighted in blue in my object browser?
Okay. Now mine. Oh, you just highlighted them both in blue.
Yep,
And you want me to do.
I clicked on one and then I held Shift down, or holding Control down might be even better. And then I clicked
Mm-hmm.
on the other, so they're both selected, and they're
Mm-hmm.
highlighted in blue to show that they're both selected.
Mm-hmm.
And now we want to group them.
Okay.
So to
Another way
group,
to do that would be to just outline them all, outline the two of them together with the select tool.
that might work, but it might be very tricky if there's very much going on your graphic. It's much easier to use the object browser.
Okay, and I don't know why when I clicked in my object browser on rectangle, it selected something else that I had drawn on the page. It was not the text rectangle. I'm gonna have to go back and play with this, but yeah, I understand what you did with yours.
Okay, now up at the top here, we have Group Objects button. You see where my mouse is?
Yeah.
And so you
Well,
can either click that or you can hit Control G, which is what I do. Hit Control
Control G
G.
is group object. Okay.
Yep. And now in your object browser, you can see that it changed to group of two objects. And if you click this little arrow, then it shows the two objects, our text and our rectangle. And so now if we grab it, well, it'll move together. So now you can
Yeah.
see that the white dead zone is covering that line that we made.
Right. And you created that rectangle or that text box so that it's large enough. The white space around the letters is doable.
Yeah,
That's
I just eyeballed it because I know about what
right.
it's supposed to
Yeah.
be.
Me too. I think there's a tool on Corel that I've tried using, and it does the text box. It does the white space behind the text, and I have to get Reagan to like undo that because she was trying that, and my graphics person, because it's not big enough around there's not enough white space for
Hmm.
the tiger to then separate, create white space around the text. It's just not enough space. So
Yeah,
that's what I was commenting on last week when you put your text on there. I said that's got enough white space around it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
okay, yeah, thank you. I think what I'm just realizing is I need to play around with more of this. But you just mentioned several things. Real quick, are any of those other control things? You said Control G is group objects, which is wonderful because it takes me so long to find that. What about ungroup?
Control U.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Any other control things for in there?
So if you're ever doing something with your mouse in CorelDraw, whatever you're doing, you can just, you know, if you're gonna hit the button, just pay attention and see, like right here, I've got my mouse on the ungroup group
Wait a minute. I
objects.
can't see your mouse. I'm looking at mine. Where's your mouse?
It's up at the top on
Left, right? I don't see it.
the top, sort of near the middle of the CorelDraw window. Here, I'll move it some more here.
Okay, I see
Oh,
it.
you see
Yeah, I
my
see it.
mouse? We're bringing
Mm-hmm.
it up here. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
hovering over the Ungroup Objects button, and you can see right on the little tool tip, it says Ungroup Objects, and in parentheses it says Control U.
See, I don't even see that. That every version comes out with different guidelines. I don't see an ungroup box. I have to go up into something like, I have to guess, is it in objects? Is it in, like for mine is in objects. Anyway,
Well, the newer version anyway has
yeah,
tips
yeah,
for
okay.
the buttons that tell you what they do, and they tell you what the shortcut is. So that's how I know what the shortcuts are.
Oh,
So real quick, it's Control G and Control U for grouping and ungrouping.
uh-huh.
The other four that are built in that I use extensively are F5 for the line tool. You know, you can just draw
Oh,
a polygon
nice.
real fast.
Okay. Okay.
F6 is the rectangle and the square. If you hold shift down, it'll do
Right.
like a symmetric one. And if
Right.
you hold control down, it'll do a square instead of a
Right.
rectangle. And you can
Right.
combine control and shift. So
You
um,
you what?
you can
You
hold both down to get a square like that's centered where you started with your mouse.
hold both down. Why do you need both? I've done oh, because you're using the rectangle tool. The rectangle tool is F6.
Yep.
What?
F7 is the circle tool. So you can hold it down. If you hold down shift, it does it from the center. If you hold down control, it does a perfect circle, just like with the square. And then you can hold them both down, and it'll do it from the center of where you started.
Right. Right. I'm not sure because I've done that with. I'm not sure what you mean by hold them both down.
You hold
What?
both shift and control down on the keyboard with two of your fingers.
Oh, shift and oh, after you select the F. So let's say I select F7. I do F7 and then I hold shift and control.
Only if you want it to turn out that way.
Right.
It's
I
just one of
understand
the
that.
options. You can hold just shift and you can hold just control, or you can hold them both, or you can hold none of them, and they all do different things depending on how
I've
you
never
want your
heard.
circle.
I've never done the shift before, but at all. I've used the control. I'm trying to see what the difference is between doing shift and just doing the tool. Anyway, well, I'll play around with that. Okay.
Yeah,
All
and then
right.
F8 we already went over as the text tool.
Okay. Well, thank you. That helps a lot.
Yeah.
That helps a lot. I appreciate showing that stuff. Yeah, I'm eventually going to be getting I need to get a new version of Corel because I need to put it on my other laptop that has that's newer and has more space on it. So, yeah, but thank you.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, the
Um,
text box is especially helpful because that was not. Looking at the bottom, a YCMK and they're all 0. Which one do you use that's set to create the white space behind? Because several of them look white to the naked eye.
on my monitor they don't, but it's the one all the way on the right here, the CMYK0. And I set this up and locked it so that it couldn't be changed.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I saw. Why does that say 10%? Oh, 10% black. That's what I did. Okay. So I'm just doing that process one more time until this kicks us off, I guess. What is it for F8 is the text tool.
That's right.
And then I select there and text tool. And then then you create the rectangle around it. That's so I hit F6 to create a rectangle.
Yes.
And I create the rectangle around there. And from there, I'm just going through this one more time. Is it from there that I click on the fill, the white? I found the CMYK, it's all zeros. Okay, that covered it up. Then I right click on the
So
place in the
real
box.
fast, I'll show you the manual way to do it, and then you can figure out how to get a template. So if you look at my screen again, I'll make another quick text box here.
Okay.
There we go. And we'll put it right there. And then I'll draw our dead
You just
zone.
you hit F6 for that.
Yep, I hit F6.
Okay.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the plus here and open up my
Oh,
properties
I've
dialog.
done that. Yeah, I've done that. But it's
Yeah.
like so many more steps than what you just showed.
It is more steps, but it's something you might have to do until you get things figured out. So I'm on the outline here, so I'm going to click there, and I'm going to make sure this is on Show Color Viewer, and CMYK is what I want here. And then I'm going to change this K to 0
To 0.
and
Yeah,
hit
I've done all
Enter.
that.
So now we're going to go up here and click on the fill, and we're going to click on Uniform Fill here. And then see it's started as RGB here. I'm going to change that to CMYK, and I'm going to change
You have to change them. Yeah.
I'm going to change all the C, the M, the Y, and then the K is going to be 100. There. Oh, sorry.
The K is
It's going to be
100 and 0.
0. We want it
Yeah.
white, not
Okay.
black.
Yeah.
There we
Yeah.
go. All right.
And
And
then
now,
Control G to group.
so now that's the manual way to do this. So you're going to definitely want to get your palette set up with a white that you can click on. It's much
Right.
faster.
I found it, but and how do you bring that to the front again, or
And
bring that to the back?
now I go back to the layers over here in the
Layers.
objects browser on the left. I placed my object manager on the left side here. So you can probably, even in an old version,
Oh.
rearrange that. But I'm just going to drag my rectangle underneath the text box. And
Drag the
then
rectangle underneath the text box.
I'm going to hold shift down and click on the text box in the object browser, and now I'm going to hit Control G to group them.
Shift and Control G. Do you have to do that? the same time? I
No,
thought you just
no,
did Control
no.
J.
Just Control G. No, I held Shift down to be able to select both objects instead of just the one.
Oh, I don't. You held Shift down.
Here, let me show you what happens if I don't hold Shift down.
Oh,
Okay.
you'll move one
So
but not the other. But I'm trying to go back and figure out how to do that
yeah,
because I
see,
already got off of there.
well, just look at my screen here.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's real
So I'm not
tiny.
holding Shift down, and I'm clicking on one. It just has one selected when I click on one. So I have to hold Shift down and then click on the other, and now they're both selected.
Oh, so
Now,
wait, you're selecting the text and the
and the
rectangle.
rectangle. Yep.
Oh, and that.
Now I can hit Control G and group them. And now, if I need to move the box, they'll move together because they're a group.
I don't know if mine. When I clicked on both of them, it opened this other box. No, and I've got all kinds of things happening. No, that didn't work. I don't know what just happened. How do I know that that's got the oh, it does. Okay. Mine just has a little bit of white space around it though. That's not what I created. Nope, mine didn't work.
You may have edited the colors for your text box instead of your rectangle if you had the wrong thing selected.
How do I put that layer to the back again? I put the rectangle underneath. Oh. Now how do I, in order to lock them, I'm back to where I have the box and the text. In order to lock them, what do I do again?
Do you
I
mean
highlight
to group them?
to group them, right? I highlight.
You have to have them both selected. So click on one in the object browser, and I'll do it on my screen, and then click on the other by holding down Shift.
Okay.
Now you can hit Control G and group them.
Okay, the minute I did that, when I held the Shift, I have a whole box showed up on the screen.
It must be.
Block object, water objects, all this stuff.
It must be something with your version of CorelDraw, I guess.
Yeah. So is there so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go outside and I'm going to hide them both by selecting and try Control G for group. And that group of, okay. And that showed up in the object manager now as group of two objects. Okay. And that's better. Okay. I got it now. So I had to select in a different way, but it was a quick way for me. But a lot of these other things are so much quicker than what I've been doing. Thank you. You give me a lot of things to think about and play around with.
Oh, you're welcome. We are about out of time here.
Okay. All right.
So,
well, thanks, Jonathan.
You're welcome. And so I'm going to stop recording.